Alright, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go through operations with integers. Remember, integers are 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, dot, dot, dot. You know? So all we're doing is the operations with this, which really is our sign rules. Okay, so you should know your sign rules. If you don't have them memorized, you need to get them memorized. This is really important. Okay, kind of like your orders of operations. You need to have your orders of operations memorized. You need to have your sign rules memorized. These are the basis for math. If you can't do those, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So we make sure we memorize these so we don't struggle with the basics. Okay, so sign rules for addition. Okay, if they have the same sign, we're just going to add them together and keep whatever sign they have. So if they're both positive, we're going to add them together, and it's going to be positive at the end. If they're both negative, we're going to add them together, and it's going to be negative at the end. That's all we're looking at here. Okay. Now, if we have different signs, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract them, and then just keep the sign of whichever number is bigger. Okay? And you know which one's bigger because it's the one that's furthest away from 0 on the number line. And we're going to show that here in a minute, but that's really all it is. You're going to subtract and keep the sign of the number that was bigger. Okay? And I'm running through the sign rules real quick, and then we're going to show a few examples of them fairly quickly. Subtraction. Okay? So you're going to add the additive inverse, or the opposite. And then I have a little example here because this is one that a lot of people make mistakes on. Right here's where we make mistakes. Okay, so we got 6 minus 15. This is the same thing as saying, hey, 6 plus negative 15. These two things are the same thing. You may have also heard a teacher tell you to go in there and do click, click. Okay, so 6 minus, when you say minus, you change negative, or so subtraction to addition, change the sign of the number behind it. So 6 minus 15, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do click, click, 6 plus negative 15. See how we added its inverse? Okay, that's what we did. Okay, then follow the rules for addition. This is addition now, right? So we're going to come back up here. All right, 6 plus negative 15, this is a positive, this is a negative. We're going to come back up here. The signs are different. We're going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. The whole point of this is to get it back to this addition rule so that we can use it. That's what we're trying to do. Okay? Not complicated, but it's a simple mistake that tons of people make. Be careful with that one. All right? Multiplication and division are the same. They're different from addition and subtraction. Don't get those two confused. But what I'm saying here is that multiplication or division, it doesn't matter. Those sign rules together are the same. Okay? So if you have positive times a positive, you're going to get a positive. If you have a positive divided by a positive, well, you're going to get a positive. Right? Negative times a negative, it's a positive. This is the one that people make mistakes on. Negative divided by negative gets you a positive. This one right here is the one that you see a lot of people make mistakes on. Okay? And then you have positive multiplied by a negative gets you a negative. Positive divided by negative gets you a negative. Now I put a couple of reminders here. A lot of people like to use these things. Personally, I prefer this one, but some people like this one. This is called Sleepy Man. This is tic-tac-toe. Okay? Sleepy Man, a negative times a negative gets you a positive. Negative times positive gets you a negative, and everybody should know a positive times a positive gets you a positive. Okay? And then the same thing here. Positive times positive, positive, positive times negative, negative, and you can just kind of follow along and see which one you get done. I would have this written down, ready to go, until I have it memorized. That's what I would have. I would have this written down, ready to go, and this until I have it memorized. Okay? You need to get this memorized. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look over here. We're going to use our sign rules on a couple of problems over here. And what we have set up here is basically a number line to kind of show the example of what it looks like when you do this. Okay? So they do this. They go, use a number line to find -3 plus -4. Well, if we follow just the rule that we have, if they're the same sign and we're adding them, well, we're just going to add them together and keep their sign. So 4 plus 3 is 7. They were both negative, therefore it's a -7. Okay? But if you look, they're showing you as to why it's that way, okay? So we go to 0, and we're going to go back 3, okay? And then we're going to go back another 4. So we go back another 4, look at where we end up at, -7. That's what they're showing here. And this is a really good example, and it's a visual for people that are visual. They need to see it in order to understand what it is. It's a very good visual for it. Okay? So that's all it is. All it's doing is showing you exactly why this rule works. Okay? We're going to come down here, hopefully, and they got this box here. It's really pretty good. They go through, same signs, and this is the same thing as what I put up over there, right? 3 plus 5 equals 8. 3 and 5 are positive, their sum is positive. -3 plus -5 equals -8. -3 and -5 are negative, their sum is going to be negative because both of them are negative. And then when you have different signs, 3 plus -5 equals -2. -5 has the greater absolute value. Remember, absolute value is distance from 0. Okay, so if we took that number line back up here, and we went the distance from 0, well, -3, the distance from 0 is 3. That's what they're saying here. I don't, it's correct. It's not how I like to explain it, but it works. Okay, -5 has a greater absolute value. Their sum is negative. Because this is a bigger number, or further away from 0, we're going to take the sign from this. That's how we know which sign to use. So 3 plus -5 equals -2. Okay? 5, now we come down here, -3 plus 5 equals 2. This has the greater absolute value. It's the furthest away from 0. Therefore, we're going to use that sign. We're going to subtract and use the sign of that 5. Okay? 5 has a greater absolute value. Their sum is positive. That's what it's talking about. Okay? That's pretty much all there is to that. And then they show you a different way to do that, but we're going to skip that because I don't like it. So, did it take me to the next page? Okay, yeah. All right. So then we come over here. Multiplication and same sides, different sides, but multiplication and division, same sign rules. Okay? So, positive times a positive gets me a positive. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 and 5 are positive. The product is positive. Remember, the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Okay? -3 times -5 equals 15. -3, -5, they're both negative. You get a positive when you multiply a negative times a negative. You get a positive. Their product is positive. That's all we're looking at. Okay? And memorize this, memorize this, memorize this. 3 times -5 equals -15. Positive times a negative gets you a negative. Negative times a positive, it's the same rule, gets you a negative. That's all we're looking at here. Okay? Quotient, find each product or quotient. It's the same thing. Product's answer to a multiplication. Quotient, answer to a division problem. You're just going through your rules. That's all it is. And it's the same thing. Now look, -51 divided by -3. Negative divided by negative gets you a positive. That's all there is to this, guys. I'm not going to go through a lot of problems here because at this point you should know how to do this. Remember, I'm going to go through them real quick. Sum, answer to an addition problem. Difference, answer to subtraction problem. Product, answer to a multiplication problem. Quotient, answer to a division problem. You need to have those memorized too. Shouldn't be that hard. Should have already seen those before. But if you have any questions over your sign rules, please come get help.